We are on a quest to discover countries within countries. Places known as micronations. A micronation is a small area or political entity that claims national sovereignty but is not recognised by other sovereign states. There are thousands of micronations all over the world, kingdoms, principalities and empires. I'm visiting some lesser known micronations to try to understand the cultures, lifestyles and drives which led them to start these new countries. I'll be spending some time in the Kingdom of Waywood with King Raoul Halvar, the self-proclaimed dictating chief of Waywood. But first, we're meeting up with some Waywood residents who have been exiled permanently. Really, to start this, would be to say what is Waywood? What is it?
Well, I suppose it's a separate little place. It's a separate little entity. It's its own little place. Do you know what I mean? It's a micronation.
So how long were both of you there for?
3 months.
Yeah.
And what do you think the attraction is to want to go there?
Well, do you know what? I think it's getting back in touch with nature. You know, when you sat around that hearth and you've got the fire and, you know, you're sat there cooking your meals on the fire, it was a really nice experience. And I felt a little bit like one of the Lost Boys from Peter Pan.
His big attraction
Yeah.
is he attracts people who are slowly starting to awaken to the system, sort of like letting them down.
Sure.
So he feeds into
He
that
picks up the waifs and strays, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So we are going to Waywood now. This is our first opportunity to go. Quite exciting, really. I think it's going to be quite interesting to see what it's going to look like. Also going to be interesting to know, really, if they live there. We'll just see what happens. But I'm excited. Cool. I'm nervous.
He's born in the year of the dragon.
Dragons have ego and impulse, and on the dragon.
You'll find a lot of this at Waywood. They base their entire life around it.
So, do you think he woos them or manipulates them?
Well, I think no manipulate. I think no. I think he's gonna.
Isn't it? You know what, is it?
I'm going to say manipulate.
It is a bit more manipulation.
It is manipulation because
But
then
you
he
did
knows
get
how they act.
exiled, so you might say the harsher
Very
word.
biased. Very biased.
Yeah.
When
I
you walk
understand.
in there, you
but I've done a
miss
lot
this.
for that place.
The first person we met since we've turned up here, and we've not even been in yet, was a member who's brought some food for the feast. She seemed really lovely, but she didn't want to be on camera, so that's fine. Secondly, the second person we met was a little bit more intimidating. It was a gentleman wearing a flak jacket, full army gear, who is their Ministry of Defence, the mod as they call him. And he seems like a really nice guy. We're going to go in there and get a tour from him, and then hopefully meet the king afterwards. Let's see what happens. Welcome to Waywood Woodland Market. Just watch out for the... See what happens. I've noticed this sign, dogs loose. Is that...
You'll be right at the moment.
Okay, fine.
Let's put it that way. We know you're coming, so...
Anyway, it's mod, isn't it?
yes, it is.
Great
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for
Nice
having
to
us.
meet you. With the code of conduct, if people are going to be a pain in the ass and not, take heed to the code of conduct, I'm allowed to make a citizen's arrest, call the police, the authorities will come along if they're not to leave.
Yeah.
If they're asked to leave or they're drunk or something like that, kind of push them in the right direction.
Using reasonable force.
Yeah.
I would look at the word exile and being exiled from essentially a small community like that as to be quite a strong word. So please tell me all about that.
The whole argument was in a chat, and I jumped on, he jumped on, and he was basically justifying how he felt about the situation.
And basically, there was a little bit of a disagreement. My phone had been off for a long period of time. I'd gone back and I needed to borrow a charger from one of the other Wombles.
Yeah.
And she normally used my car at the time just to charge her phone.
Yeah.
You know, it's obviously when you're out in the woods, they're using either solar power or they're trying to use battery packs. So if they're in a shit situation, I'd help out.
Yeah.
They're like, here you go. So my phone's been off for 36 hours. I need to contact family members, just let everyone know that I'm all right. She was an issue. Obviously, the Queen overhears it, and basically she had past issues with a drinker. So she sort of takes that a little bit out on me as well. She sort of looks at me and it gives her, it triggers her.
Mix.
Mod, Ministry of Defence.
Yeah, mod.
Basically, he took the matter into his own hands because Danny, that's what he says he can do. And he said, well, the Queen said you had to get out. You didn't get out, and I got taken out. So it wasn't like if you're in a bar, you get your arm sort of taken out and moved out. He sort of grabbed me, took me out. I landed on a log, and then also a load of my hair got pulled out. So do you know what I mean? It was quite like a little bit of a
tussle.
Yeah.
And I made points that backed him up, which Raoul didn't like. So as soon as he doesn't like something, his automatic thought is, exile, shame,
shame.
Take the walk of shame.
So you just said the use of excessive force.
Yeah, the use of excessive force against me. Look, at the end of the day, that shouldn't have got to that sort of point. There's no need for that to be there. And he's tried to justify it. And for me, it sort of does worry me that he's got, him sort of acting in that sort of way, and he's allowed that sort of behaviour to happen. What if I'd landed on a log on my neck or something?
After talking with the exiles, I couldn't help but be concerned for the safety of the crew. They painted a pretty oppressive picture of the king and his kingdom.
So, thank you.
No, nice to meet you.
Raoul Halvar.
Halvar. Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Properly.
Yes, no, please come in.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
No worries at all. This is the farming district.
Yep.
In the farming district, we've got the orchard, which is newly established this year.
Yep.
We've got peach trees, plum trees, apple trees, pear trees. On the right-hand side, here's the traditional bed. And down here, we've got corn, we've got potatoes, various lettuce and salads, peas, beans, garlic.
I was impressed with the efforts that they had made to create a sustainable society separated from the UK mainland. But I couldn't help but think about something the exiles had mentioned, about the way that they keep the animals.
There's a lot of animal welfare issues there.
Oh, right.
Because they've got chickens and turkeys and stuff like that. And
okay.
so
And
they kill their own males. So any hens that are born, any chickens that are born, any cockerels would be killed and eaten, and guinea pigs as well. The guinea pigs are killed.
Right, so you think there's some animal welfare issues there? The animals not being kept in the right habitats, or the right environment in cages and things?
Yeah, there was a thing a few weeks ago where all of the quail got eaten by rats, except one. One quail survived, so I have to give that one a home. Sort of agricultural area is really nice, but I think the care and the work that goes into keeping animals fed all the time and with clean water and stuff is probably more than perhaps maybe they bargained for. It seems to be like at the last of the list.
This is one of our most valuable resources.
Oh wow.
The donation to sponsor the animals and the breeding of the animals, which then in turn feed us and we can eat.
Wow.
So we breed them, they give us babies, their babies get big, and just like these guys, I don't know, people get sensitive about it, but that's dinner. We'll eat those at the end of August for the coronation.
Oh, some guinea pigs. Hello.
Yeah, they're dinner too. When we started this project, we were going to get rabbits, and we were told all the problems that rabbits create. Guinea pigs, they breed faster, a lot quicker, they're friendlier, they can't dig, they can't jump, and they're quite happy just to live all together in little groups.
I was introduced to all of the animals kept there. I'm not an animal expert by any means, but as far as I could see, the animals were well looked after and didn't seem distressed at all. He continued to tell me all of the individual names for each animal, which were clearly chosen with care. I was interested to know more about sustainability and how his kingdom trades with other micronations, especially one called Samaria, who are only 65 miles away.
Our relationship with Samaria is actually because we have blue eggs. Their national colours are blue. So when we had the blue eggs, it was a perfect, almost meant to be opportunity to be in some sort of trade deal for them to have blue eggs. And we're quite proud of them. They do get a lot of attention from the community as well. Apparently people just love blue eggs.
So much thought is put into everything when you sent your code of conduct.
Yeah.
That to me is a great deal of thought has gone into that. And
we have a Declaration of Independence, we have a Constitution, a Code of Conduct, we have a National Anthem. We have too much time on our hands.
Well,
that's what we do. We just sit around saying, you know what? England have a national anthem. We need a national anthem.
Can we hear it?
I'd have to encourage the guys to sing it.
We've looked at videos online where he talks about quite openly about a punishment system. Is that an active thing? Have people? I mean, arrest is a word he uses.
So like when you're changing like the toilets, basically they dig a pit. They've got a toilet shack set up, but then you just poop into the ground.
So they're basically living on their waste.
Yeah, but Ben, they made him rake this crap. Well,
Poor
Mod
Ben.
was digging the other hole, passing him it. He was having to go through everyone else's logs. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's excrement.
No, the king is not above the law. I've been taken to court several times.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the king's not above
Did you
the
say
law.
what for?
I did not, and I'm still guilty. I'm still innocent to this day.
Freudian slip.
No, yeah. I'm still innocent to this day, but I was tried and found guilty of desecrating the Queen's throne, which was not true.
Mod, do you want to give us your input on that?
No. No comment.
So I had to repent, and we have penance here. We don't have punishment, we have penance, a way for people to make up for the wrongs that they've done.
We were taken to the armoury, which is also the court, and also a place in which the king himself could be found guilty if he were to commit a crime. We were shown a device attached to a tree, which, like a crucifix, is designed to humiliate and control the masses. Although to the best of our knowledge it has never been used, which is probably for the best. As I sat there waiting to be tried, I realised my only crime was not asking to be strung up on an old tree for the sake of this film.
If you litter on the path, you get the bag, you get a litter picker, you go and do a litter sweep. If you cut corners and you make a shortcut and for whatever reason don't have a reasonable excuse that's justifiable, was it an emergency? No. Well, then you have to go around and have to repair any broken or damaged limbs on trees or everything, you know.
I'm glad you said trees. I thought limbs on.
I had penance one day of sorting out the boundaries because I'd smuggled in.
Oh yeah,
someone.
Mod the smuggler. I remember those. Yeah.
So you brought
I
somebody
smuggled
in?
someone in across the border. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my penance was I had to strengthen the boundaries and sort that
But why
out.
would you give the person who smuggled someone in the ability to then make?
He was
little
already
holes
he
and
was
stuff?
already the Ministry of Defence when he smuggled in the person.
Well, that's quite a fair.
It was his wife though.
It was my wife.
Oh.
And he wasn't necessarily smuggling her in, it was the way he brought her in, which was across the eastern boundary, which is that's a big no-no.
And why is that? Why is it a no-no?
The north, south and west.
So can you point us in just quickly north?
North,
South,
and west,
East, West, yeah.
all go out onto domains that we, essentially as public people, can go onto without repercussion.
And the east over
The
there
eastern boundary is private land owned by other owners, and then we're
cardinal sin
trespassing.
there.
See, in some other micronations, I'm making this up, you might have your hand chopped off for that.
Yeah.
Oh, we've talked about it, but we can't decide whether it should be fingers, thumbs, toes, hands.
We'll have limits of 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, there was honestly a huge discussion about it. Went on for hours, and in the end, we just couldn't decide. I said that anybody that breaks a crime should lose a finger, and we'll start with the pinky and work our way in until you've lost all your fingers, and then you're not going to commit crimes because you won't have the hands to do it.
The National Park have given us some outside sort of pressure.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
They're on a notice.
They've been fighting for 5 years.
It's got him on his toes and putting out videos on YouTube saying we've spoken to the national park and we've demanded our 28 days a year, blah blah blah. I mean, like, come on, man.
How much conflict is there between a micronation and a macronation in terms of what you expect them to be able to allow? Because obviously, being in a huge country where you've decided that this.
Oh, you think you'd get more resistance?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, nothing. Nobody cares.
Really?
Honestly, nobody cares.
Okay.
We've never had any issues with any authority or anybody who is working for the Queen of England. We just see it as a way to be independent from that nation. The next step further is self-sufficiency, self-reliance, and then complete independence. And that's what we're going for, is independence.
And you're here all the time.
All the time. I'm here all the time. I hardly ever leave. I don't leave. I don't even answer the gate.
I've noticed that. Is that a king thing?
Yeah, it's a principle thing.
On a lot of the imagery that you guys have, or King Raoul has, is there's a flag with that acorn in the centre of it. And forgive me, I'm colourblind, so I'm not actually sure what the colours on each side are. But and then we realised that every single micronation has one of these flags.
You have to have a flag, you have to have a Ministry of Defence, you have to have a monarch, it doesn't have to be a king. You have to have a priest?
Yeah, they lost the priest.
Yeah, they lost the priest.
What would you say when you looked at it? What would you call this area? Describe it for me from somebody who didn't live there, if that's possible.
It's a beautiful place. Like I said,
it is.
it's
It's got
absolutely
potential.
stunning place, and I recommend anyone go there.
I couldn't get away from the fact that there was such negativity surrounding Waywood. In talking about their experiences, the exiles were so respectful. Part of me thought that they were just battling with being cast aside.
This is the hearth,
Yep.
and essentially is our place of worship.
Yep.
And what we tend to do is worship everything, from music to company to socialising to the old gods, the new gods, to anything you want to believe. This is the place to come to just honour that, worship it.
And where do you think he gets that ideology from, and those
Pagan.
those
Pagan,
it's
old,
all
old
pagan.
ways. He follows the old gods. That's what.
Old and new.
Old and new. He says, yeah. I mean, he's very in with the Chinese zodiac.
Calls it the Oracle.
Yeah, he calls it the Oracle. Yeah,
They do,
He
and
does very
and I
much.
think he bases the new people that he meets first.
Yeah.
Goes and reads his book, and then I think he knows how to interpret that person.
This here is my throne, which is was the first one. This is the Queen's throne.
Okay.
Yeah, she's very proud of her decorations. As you can see, she's gone floral, and she's an Aries, so she's got ram's heads on here. Whereas in the Celtic zodiac, I have a stag, so the stag's a bit more fitting here. And this throne is reserved for our girlfriend, because we're poly, so
Polyamorous.
yes.
Okay. Very
So
interesting.
I'm quite a lucky king, because not only do I have a queen and wife, but we also have a girlfriend. So
Does that cause friction ever?
we don't have a girlfriend at the moment,
But when she comes along,
but
she'll sit there.
yeah,
Yeah.
she has done. We have done.
Okay.
yeah.
Fine. Okay. Fine.
This is where the feathers come, and my deer skulls. I have my crown, though I've been told by my people I'm not allowed to wear it until the coronation.
So have you worn it at all?
Yes, of course. Put it on now. Yeah. Have my crown,
That's wonderful.
and I have my scepter.
That's
which is
great.
here.
And your horn.
This is my drinking horn.
That's wonderful.
This is my Viking horn. It goes louder than that, but I didn't want to call
Are we going to have some like men run in with swords in a minute? If you do that?
Essentially, Mod does come running if I blow the horn. In fact, most of the waffles.
Don't
do.
worry, Mod. You don't have to come now.
Stand down! Stand down!
Stand down.
Most of this is just stuff that's been gifted to me by loyal subjects who have wanted to see me succeed and progress through the micronational stance. In fact, pretty much everything that I have, thank you. Everything that I have, everything that I own, has been gifted to me in one shape or a form. From my rugs to even my acorn brooch, it all just gets gifted by citizens and subjects of Waywood that want to contribute to the project.
On the front.
Of course it is.
Fear
Of course it is.
tactics.
Yeah,
That's the
of course
thing.
it
It's
is.
like with the money that he says that we owe. Like now we owe like every womble there.
$5 grand.
$5 grand each. Yeah. So now he says that if we go back. Well, he says if he goes back, technically he owes 25k. I mean, I'm still allowed back. I don't know if I'll get contested for that if I do go back.
So if I went back, I wonder what would
But
happen.
yeah,
would
I
I
mean,
get
would
put
he
in
be
the
put
stocks?
Yeah.
Would I get put in the stocks? Would I have
How
to?
long for?
I don't know. My penance would be discussed in the waffle every Monday. Yeah. Raoul has this thing called the waffle. It's a meeting every Monday, and it's done by the certain signs of the zodiac. It's one of each of the zodiac.
Okay.
So
thought out.
he can get the best opinion of all the zodiacs who are there. It's a bit degrading when you're on the outside there and you're like told to go over to your tent. You know what I mean? You're not involved in it because there's already a dragon. For example, he's a dragon, I'm a dragon, so I can't be in the waffle. Really good ideas for the place, but no one will listen.
Would it matter? Would it matter like if say I don't know, say 12 new people want to join and they're all of that by complete coincidence they're all the same star sign or zodiac sign? Would that be an issue?
I mean, there is enough weight put on the personalities attached to the zodiac signs that whoever comes in, their Chinese zodiac sign will be like shared amongst, and usually they'll be like, oh well, you know, you're a horse, so you're not going to get on with them because whatever. I think there's a lot of really nasty things, I suppose, that I associate with certain types of men. I don't think it's reaching its full potential. I think
What's stopping it from reaching its full potential?
there's just not enough, I think, motivation or
Right.
We don't get a lot of problems here. I think it comes down to just sort of the ease of life.
Yeah.
Everything's relaxed. You don't have a lot of pent-up anger because you just get opportunities to vent it. You get opportunities to talk about it, whereas in normal society standards, you're not in one place long enough with the same people long enough to resolve issues you have with them. And if issues are going to be resolved, it's usually over social media, and it's all messages. No body language, no facial expressions, no context, no tone of voice. You don't understand what's being said, and it's miscommunication. Out here, there's no distraction. There is absolutely nothing that can take priority over building bridges and fixing bridges that may potentially crumble because of a miscommunication or misunderstanding, or even just something out of context that has been taken differently from a different perspective. Here is resolution. This is literally the place of resolution because you've got nowhere else to go.
When did you first think, I'm going to start my own, I've got this land, I'm going to start my own nation?
I didn't.
Right.
I didn't. I had the land, and my idea of it was to farm it to a point, to become more self-sufficient. Poultry and potatoes, that was my goal.
Yeah.
Over the years of trying to achieve just the littlest poultry and potato dream, I met many difficulties. I've had authorities, I've had different people challenge me as the landowner, not as a king, not as a chief, not as any sort of authoritative figure, but as just the landowner. And I lost a lot. I lost my business, I lost a family, I lost a lot in the journey in getting where I am. When my first few subjects turned up, before they were subjects, they were outraged, disgusted by the story of where I got to here. They sort of, it wasn't a case of them just suddenly deciding it, but over the conversation, one mentioned T. She said, so what happens if we declare you king and we no longer recognise the Queen of England, thus not recognising her government, thus not recognising the authorities that are under her, and thus then you are. And we laughed it off. We thought it's that'd be funny. They didn't. They looked into it, and they went into it. They read up on micro. Sealand was the first one, quite a famous one.
Yes, I know it.
So we looked at Sealand, and then after that came the Facebook pages, the YouTube videos, and then we just started going from there. So first of all, we started crossing things off the list. Do you have a territory? Yep. Do you have subjects and citizens? Yeah. Do you have this? Well, no, but we can do that. Do you have rules that you can enforce? No, but hey, let's make some up. Don't cut corners, don't make shortcuts, stay off the flower beds. They're rules, we can enforce them. And so on and so forth. National anthem, our own flag, or even our own motto,
It's interesting that you mention all of those things, because I did wonder before we came here whether those things are necessary.
I think so.
I thought maybe there was like a rule book somewhere.
There is. There's not so much a rule book, but there is a list of standards when it comes to a micronation. I mean, Taiwan has been looking for independence since 1989, and they're still not recognised by the UN. So do we have much chance? I don't think so. But everybody, by United Nations international laws, has their right to bestow their sovereignty onto anybody they wish. So therefore, everything here is legitimate. Everything here is above order because it is how it is written in their rules. Anybody can bestow their sovereignty onto anybody. Micronation is a thing. It is part of that United Nations agenda where they've got the rules put in place to become a micronation. There's just different things to cross off that list to be recognised.
The ceremony's about to take place. It's running a little bit behind. It's nice to meet some of the new residents actually, since we were here last.
Apparently I'm being offered the role as the right hand man to the king. I mean, we've discussed it verbally and stuff, but obviously with this being the coronation, it's going to be an official thing, shall we say.
Have you spent time here, lots of time here? Or?
Over the last couple of years I've been down quite frequently, but not for the last 12 months due to my circumstances on the mainland.
How do you find it?
It's just a peace of mind, it's a little bit of paradise.
So I was sitting down getting my makeup and hair done because it's coronation today, and I'm not supposed to be out because of the ceremony. So I'm sitting there, and then I get the Ministry of Defence for Waywood come running down to tell me that trees come down. Alright, we're in the woodlands, fair enough. What's the damage? and Captain Ellen has had her van hit by this tree. It's taken her window out. Okay, is there any concern? Do I need to come up? Not yet. No. Stay there. Stay in ceremony. It's all right. We're taking care of it.
They'll have to send BT out, won't they?
Actually, what's that? Is it a telephone thing?
I think so. I can tell you, we can get on the van and just give it a shove, but the only thing is it might scrape the side of the van and make more damage. Yeah. Cut the bit off.
We need some rope, we do.
Yeah, I've got some rope. It's there, I've got rope from Carabiner.
This way.
The ceremony was about to take place in like 5 minutes, about 10 minutes ago, and unfortunately a tree has fallen on this person's van. She's quite distraught about it, unfortunately. And these unqualified men are handling electrical wires. Just, I'm speechless, I don't know what to say.
Right, so we need a driver to roll forward very, very slowly. Take the handbrake, yeah? Very, very slowly, and we're going to take it off the back.
Next thing I know is the right hand of the king, my right hand man, has been flung off of the top of the van by the cable and taken himself out face first into the gravel.
There you go, start it.
Forward! Forward!
This was totally unexpected. We were immediately told not to call the emergency services, but we called them anyway, fearing for John's health. The ambulance blocked the road for a while, and locals came out to see what was happening. I just didn't expect anyone to react the way that they did.
Entitled. Self-entitled. You think you're so
Do you know what I
special?
am? But you're not.
What?
I'm a fucking taxpayer.
I pay my taxes.
Yeah, I'm sure you
I do. I'm a business.
You know what you are? You're a
I pay
jealous old
taxes.
man.
I pay taxes, and I've
Envious
done nothing
little
wrong,
shit.
and that's why I'm still here for 6 years.
Have you got
And I'm
that?
still going to be here when you're dead and gone. And when you're dead, I'm going to dance on your grave, and I'm going to piss all over your gravestone. You sick, sick old man. There's a guy hurt, and you are gawping at him.
Laughing at it.
You're laughing at a man's
You know what, when
injury.
you get-
So where we should now be honouring him in the coronation is the hand of the king for the ceremony. Instead, he's yeah, a little bit wounded, injured. But it's just testimony to how hardy the Waywooders are. You see, because a fool like that, a normal man would not be up and talking and walking.
I'll laugh. Right in your face.
It's disgusting.
Yeah,
Yes, that's good. Record it. How disgusting you are that you're laughing at a man that's hurt. It's sickening. Absolutely sickening.
Come out for
What type of people are you?
Go watch EastEnders.
What type of people do that? Why would you stare and laugh at a man who's hurt himself? It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
And you married them. Him. You married him. There's something wrong with all of you.
Why this world?
You are disgusting parasite.
You're horrible.
It is absolutely
The village know it too.
laughing at a man.
I was surprised to see that the ceremony was still going ahead. Although John was being taken to hospital, it felt strange to carry on without him. It gave me a chance to catch up with the new resident, Eric, who was excited to show me his weapons collection, some of which had been forged and the rest bought from Amazon.
I prefer Frankish throwing axes for fighting more than throwing.
That was a bad mistake, now I have 2 axes.
No?
Yeah, good point.
chainmail.
Yeah, good point. Tried to get him, didn't I? Oh, Jesus. Okay.
The best bit is about axes. You can hold them a little closer. If you get in range with a sword, you've got to hold the blade, and if you ain't got decent gloves on, it's going to cut your hand. But with an axe, you can fight like that, bring it in, you've got a knuckle duster, basically, with a blade on it.
Yeah, a pretty extravagant knuckle dust.
Caused a lot of problems.
Yeah. More than a broken arm, eh?
Oh yeah.
So the ceremony's about to start.
You were in your chainmail.
Everyone's getting ready, everyone's feeling good, very positive. All thinking about John. Hope he's okay.
Okay, so hello, and we welcome you here today to bear witness to our King's coronation. Please all rise now for King Raoul Halvar. Now please kneel before the people. You are now knelt before the people of Waywood to take your oath as they bear witness at the side of God's old and new. With this crown I now place upon your head, a symbol of honour and glory, but also a representation of the authority bestowed upon you by the people. Now with this cloak, I now place upon your shoulders a symbol of togetherness and community. Now with this sceptre I place in your hands a symbol of judgment and authority. And with this orb I now place in your hand a symbol of fidelity and faithfulness. Now arise as King of Waywood, and long live the King.
Long live the King!
I've never risen as a king before. Firstly, let me just say thank you for everybody that can come here today to witness this ceremony. It is an absolute honour to be named king of such an inspiring community, and it will be my utmost priority to serve all of you in the best possible way that I can. My time and efforts shall now be dedicated to building this country to be all it can be, and will always remain a king from the people, for the people. To assist me in my rule, I appoint John of the family Oaks, Hand of the King, to advise me and to be at my side through times of diplomacy and war, to reign in my absence when possible, and to be regarded with the utmost respect. In a time when I didn't believe in myself, he believed in me. He stood by me and has put as much into this as me. John of the family Oaks can't be here today to take his oath because in the service of Waywood, he is currently being treated in the mainland for his injury.
For John!
For John! Big round of applause for him and big up respect. And from this day, may John ever be known as John Ironscott of Waywood. Now every king in history has faced an enemy at some point. And although we strive for peace, I would be naive to think it will always be this way. I appoint Eric of the family Ryder as head of the King's Guard and Royal House Carls. Eric of the House Ryder, do you willingly accept the position you stand here honoured with today?
On my honour and by the old gods and the new, I swear it.
Now rise, House Carl, and I shall...
In our previous conversations, Eric mentioned that a man is nothing without honour, and I knew that he meant it. He really wanted the king to guarantee safety for him and his family, and in return he would protect the king at all costs. But I couldn't help but wonder what the king needed protecting from.
Behind every great man, there is a strong woman. The Duchess of Waywood, Lilia, of the family Halvar, could you please come forth before the king? Duchess Lilia of the family Halvar, I stand before you today to appoint you not only my queen, but also the Queen of Waywood. I swear to serve you and honour you as my queen. Do you swear to serve and honour me as your king? I swear to remain faithful and dutiful as your king. Do you swear to remain honourable and dutiful to serve Waywood and do Waywood your utmost to bring glory and prosperity to the king and the kingdom? In the presence of gods and men, of this do you swear?
I swear.
With this cloak, I now place upon your shoulders a symbol of togetherness and community, a representation of security and safety. I share with you my protective veil. May it be a constant reminder of your shared duty to the people of Waywood, a weight you now share with the King. It shall not be taken in vain nor shared dishonourably. Do you swear to stand behind the people of Waywood with honour and truth at the side of your King? To serve all subjects of Waywood equally and fairly, and to defend them with courage and fidelity against all those who wish them harm?
I swear.
With this sceptre, I now place in your hand a symbol of judgment. I now share with you this orb, a symbol of fidelity and faithfulness. Now arise as Queen of Waywood. Long live the Queen!
Long live the Queen! Okay. So I graciously accept this position and I stand before you now as your Queen. As Queen, my duty is to my King, my country, and the subjects of Waywood. I will do my utmost to be an honourable and humble Queen, and I will do all I can to defend our people.
We are of many faiths, beliefs and religions, and so it is only fitting we recognise them all. You are here today to be recognised as the Faith Minister. Do you willingly accept the position you are honoured with today?
I do.
Now arise as Faith Minister of Waywood. Queen's Guard Duchess 1, and take your place beside the Queen. Of the family B, come forth and kneel before your King, Queen and the people of Waywood. Mod of the family B, do you willingly accept the position you are honoured with today?
I do.
With this sceptre I now place in your hands a symbol of judgment and authority, but also a representation of the responsibilities and duties shared on behalf of our sovereign monarch. Arise, General of the Ministry of Defence. Now as a country and nation, all rise for the national anthem. We stand here together, united with pride, beneath our flag, waving gallantly on high. Across the land our people did ride, noble steeds of steel. Against the tide, longboats and galleons, they bring our people home. The old gods, they called us to the sacred stones. Nomads together, no longer we roam. The old gods are watching, and of this we know. United together in Midgard below, we reap the fruits of the seeds we sow. For from tiny acorns the mighty oak grows. We're busting out of the box, we're breaking the mould. We're no longer buying, trusting the fairy tales we're sold. No longer buying the poisons we're sold. The men and women of Waywood are going back to the old. Huzzah! Woo! Now a bit more than that. Now if everybody could follow the Faith Minister 1 to the hearth, we have a coronation blessing ceremony. Thank you.
It's well into that. I got a little emotional actually. The coronation was an intense experience, and it showed me the loyalty of the residents. But I felt there wasn't really a need for a monarchy. It seems like a way to keep the residents in line and to remind the people who's really in charge, King Raoul Halvar. We were then led to the hearth to pay homage to the elements.
All please rise for the King!
Thank you all for being part of our ceremony today. We're now going to welcome the elements. We turn to the south and light this fire to represent our connection to fire and to welcome the element fire into our hearth.
We now turn to the west and sprinkle the water to represent our connection with water and to welcome the element water into our hearth.
We turn to the north and sprinkle this earth to represent our connection with the earth and to welcome the element earth into our hearth.
And now we turn to the east and light this air to represent our connection to the air and to welcome the element air into our hearth.
We now come together
with
our elements and ask for protection and blessings. Huzzah!
No.
My time in the Kingdom of Waywood has been turbulent and fascinating. I've seen how this micronation lives and trades, how they ensure order or penance, and the loyalty they have for their king. I've learned that despite living in peace, they are always ready for war. But can a community like this really endure? If Waywood is a place for the misfits and the woke,
Now arise as King of Waywood, and long live the King.
do they really need a king?